Hello, Greg. It's a beautiful day again. Hello, DB. Hello, Patrick Jackson. I never got them tomatoes in the ground yet, DB, but I got the dirt and everything to do it tomorrow. Love you too, Patrick. Hello, David Bruck. Hope you're feeling good today, buddy. Hello, Tim. How are you this evening? DB. I'll get them tomatoes in the ground tomorrow. Had a fun Saturday. I had a fun Saturday too, David. I really did, man. I enjoyed the hell out of your visit. This is the perfect time, DB. Your visit the other day has got a little bit to do with this, Dave. I was going to talk about that too the other day, but I never got around to it. I've been busy. I'm glad you're doing well, Tim. I've been a weed eater. Bought me a new weed eater today. Weed eater. I think I'm going to take it back. It's turning in the wrong direction. Throwing weed in the pond. I don't know if I'll get this done tonight or not. Internet service in and out again, in and out again. But I'll take that. I just soon live out here, not have internet service, is not live out here. Well, I don't know who all's on here, it doesn't really matter. Like I said, I do this for me, but I seen something the other night, man, and it reminded me of some stuff I've been going through. And it's about the battle that goes on in a man's mind. Probably a woman's mind, too, or anybody's mind. Sometimes there's like two people up there, sometimes there's like a half a dozen people up there. Don't seem like any of them can always, it don't seem like none of them, at least in my life, finished my program on the 6th and got my own apartment and everything. I'm a big kid now. You are a big kid, brother. Hey, I love you, man. I'm tickled to death for you. I'm tickled to death for you. You keep doing what you do, man. Keep doing what you do, and you keep getting what you're getting. Lordy. I know you've had a few battles in your mind. Anyway, like I say, I remember it's probably 12 years ago, 13 maybe, whenever it was. Some things you just remember, man. And I was seeing my therapist, who turned out to be one of my best friends today, such a good man and helped me so much. And, I don't know if you read any of my poems I posted, but, them were just kind of words, man, that I was able to rhyme a little bit to kind of get out about how I feel. Definitely, I know you have, man. We all do, I think. I want to talk about that shit tonight. Uh, anyway, there was a period of time here, after I had my little breakdown or whatever you want to call it, that I wouldn't come out of the house, and I hated the house, but I wouldn't come out. You know, I've talked about that a little bit on these videos here before, and I talk about it in meetings a lot. But I hated being home, and I hated being in the house. I wanted to go outside, but it didn't seem like I could. It just seemed like I couldn't. Something inside of me wouldn't allow me to. Anyway, I went to see my therapist, and I don't know if I seen him on one-on-one or in a group or. just talking after a meeting or whatever, and probably one-on-one at this time. But anyway, he told me one of the things I used to do in training, and again, he told me, Greg said, he said, why don't you, when you get home tonight, go to one of your doors and set you a chair outside and a chair inside, and sit in one of those chairs with the door open and talk to yourself, talk to your other self on the other side of the door. If you follow me, it's like if I'm on the inside, tell that dude on the outside why I can't come out. Then when you go on the outside, and tell that dude on the inside that you want to come out. And when he told me that, I thought, well, that's the silliest damn thing I heard of. But I was at a point in my life where I needed something, and I was willing to do that. And I could just remember, I remember standing there. I don't think I ever took the chair. I just stood there, and walked from one side, opened the door, about walking in, blah, 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 and trying to, it was a fry, man, trying to convince the other me to do something that was good for me. How powerful that part of my mind was that had me in the house. There was no reason in the world for me not to come outside. One of them poems was about fear, and that's kind of what it's like, but there wasn't nothing out here to be afraid of. There weren't alligators on the porch and zombies in the backyard and that shit, But yet I could come outside. My legs worked. But I can remember talking to one me talking to the other me, trying to get him to come out, and how powerful that part of my mind was that said, sit right here, don't do anything. Don't do what's good for you. Don't do what you want to do. Just sit here and die, Greg. Don't stand here and die. And that was one of my readings the other day or something. Talked about, have you ever? I won't go into that one. But one of the readings I read the other day somewhere, have you ever known what the right thing was to do, but yet a part of your brain, told you not to do that? Have you ever had choices and that bad could come out choice, but you just couldn't make it for some reason? You've had a way out of something, but you couldn't get yourself to do it, and there's all this battle in the mind, Greg, go do that. That is good for you. Don't do that. There's something about it. I know NA talks about living familiar pain. Sometimes we prefer familiar pain than taking a chance, of maybe experiencing some other kind of pain or some other kind of fear. I got to believe we all go through it at some time or another, I got to witness this the other day with a friend of mine. I got to witness somebody else using the chairs. And it took me back, man. I could feel this guy's pain. I could feel every word, This person is a friend of mine. He's become a good friend of mine in the program. There was something about his life, that he wasn't satisfied with. And there was things that could make his life a lot better and make him a lot happier. Just like me coming outside could have made me a happier. But he's stuck. He was stuck, and brought out the chairs. He named one fellow, and he named the other fellow. One fellow was supposed to be, he kind of put a weak name on him and a strong name on the other. The weak one was the one that had control. And the first time that he spoke from the one he named strong, the one that wanted something different in life, wanted something better in life, wanted to grow, wanted to live, wanted to be happy, wanted to improve. You know, he named him the strong one. And the weak guy told him, told the empty chair, all the reasons why he had to keep doing the things he was doing today. And then when he sat over in the other chair, he became the strong person. At first, he couldn't even talk. But when he did, he just kind of lit up. As the weak person, you could see the sorrow, you could see the pain, you could see, I could feel it in him, where he was living and what he was doing and how his life, of course, was laid out painful to him. Just like it was painful for me to sit house. And when he got over in the other chair, when he finally coaxed into talking, he just laid it on the dude, you're keeping me from doing this, blah, 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 and it's the same shit I went through, when I was on the other side of the door outside talking to the guy that was inside, I was laying it on him, man. Why are you keeping me in that house? What is wrong with you? Why are you not letting me out of this house? Why are you not letting me live? Why are you not letting me choose to do the things that I need to do to save my life, And he was doing the same thing, and it brought back all those feelings, man. And plus, I could feel his, he laid it on to the dude that was holding him back, and then he switched back to the chair again. Back to the weak person, back to the person that was sad, back to the person that was dying. And he was talking to the other fellow, the person that wanted change in his life, And it was a fry, man. Because when he got back into the, I don't remember, I'm going to go into what he told the other person about the reasons he had to do the things he's doing. And I'm sitting over here thinking, that's fucking bullshit. In my mind, I'm thinking, that's crazy. Then he gets back over to the person that wants to save his life, into that chair. Just like I would go back outside and stand in front of the door. And he wasn't as strong this time, After he'd said his first fill, after he'd laid it on him, after he told him he was going to do these things, these things needed to take place in his life. After he got back in there the second time, that weak person, that sad person, that dying person had already whipped him in one conversation, and he couldn't hardly say a damn thing, and it was so painful to watch, it was so painful to watch the battle that goes on up here. And why, some people saw, I know maybe the good wolf, bad wolf, you heard that one, I know, evil, bad, good, blah, 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 it don't matter what it is or what you call it, and I don't know that anybody else does it, but it's to see how powerful the sick person is, the sick mind is, to see how powerful the hurting mind is, of all the pain it can handle, it would choose to stay in that familiar pain versus take a chance. It could come up with all the bullshit in the world to tell me to do what I am doing rather than to do something else to change my life. I shared a little bit about this in our meeting in the jail last night, and they just shaking their heads, It's kind of like the same way, when I was with this same group of men when I finally chose to quit drinking coffee and energy drinks, when I quit using them as a crutch. I was in the same group of men when I did that, and I've been telling myself that I need to get off the coffee for years. And from, it didn't take long after I started on the energy drinks, man, before they started messing with my stomach bad. And instantly when I was drinking them, I had to fight off to drink another. It's constantly, man, constantly, just like the dope, man. constantly telling myself in this battle of my mind, don't drink another, drink another, don't drink another, and I knew that, and I knew that I was drinking them. I knew I was getting a buzz on them, trying to get a buzz on them to get out and do something. And I was perfectly fine with that for a long time. I felt like hell, it's better than sitting on my ass and there watching TV. At least I drink a couple of energy drinks, go out here in the yard and jack around. But they was killing my stomach, man. They was killing my health, and I knew that. And it was the same way with the chewing tobacco. When I was in the men's group, and I finally decided to get on Facebook and say, "Hey, I'm done with I'm done with the caffeine." I remember him sitting. We sitting in group, and when he's talking about, how when we was talking about things like that changing, this therapist friend, I was talking about how it would take our breath away almost. The fear of changing, the fear that was going on in here, of stopping something and start something else, something that was comfortable and moving into something that wasn't so comfortable. And when he was talking about, how it was taking our breath away, I was going, I caught myself just tightened up, man, with no breath. I just breathe in and breathe in and breathe in, and until I was just like it right now. It's like, fuck, dude, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just thinking about quitting again. I ain't talking about it, and I'm locking up. I'm locking up with fear. I don't take no pride in saying that, but just locking up with fear of change, fear of the unknown, no matter how good it can turn out. But it gave me the courage that night for my voice to to try something different. It gave me the courage to at least put on Facebook. I remember coming all the way home, man. I was praying, God help me, and all the way home, I thought I was gonna pass out. I just holding my breath, and all this stuff was going back through my head. What he's saying, about the fear and the battle in the mind and the holding of the breath, and it's like, damn, dude. All you thinking about doing is quit drinking coffee. You ain't like you're thinking about hanging yourself, But still, yet I was going through that fear, man. I was going through the battle in my mind. Can I do this? Do I want to do this? Do I want to deny myself? Do I want to not use? Do I want to not use? That's a hell of a question to ask, man. I gotta get out sun too. That's a hell of a question to ask yourself. Do I want to not use? Yes, I want to not use. But do I want to go through what it takes to get on the other side of that? Most time, no. I don't know, man. This thing up here is a fry, and I talked, yesterday or the other day when our men's group. Something's been bothering me, man, for I don't know, man. It's been bothering me for quite a while. Over the last couple years, I've had a couple friends die, more than that actually, but a couple good friends die of heroin overdoses. And they've been clean. They've been clean and living a decent life, a good life actually, doing things like normal people do, But both of them had told me they knew if they used that they would probably die. But neither one of them wanted to get involved in recovery. They would bounce in, would bounce out, and they wouldn't work a program of any kind, And I'm not saying everybody out there needs to work a program, but I truly believe if these two fellows would have worked a program, they'd be right here with me today. They'd be with their family today. And I asked my friend, before the meeting got over, I said, I said, this has really been bothering me. I said, I can't wrap my head around, you know, I can't wrap my head around them guys dying like that. Why? Now, I could wrap my head around going back out there and using methamphetamine because it's not going to kill me just like that. It's going to kill me slowly. It's going to drive me crazy. I can wrap my head around that, and that's fucking insane enough itself. But I said I couldn't wrap my head around somebody that would say, he'd probably die if he used that shit again. And living in a community where people are dropping like flies with it, and been clean for a while, and then go right back out there, pick up, and die. And my friend told me, he said, Greg, he said, I can't tell you exactly what goes through them guys' mind. He said, but he said, people who do those things usually are people who do not work a program, who do not get honest. Things might bounce around in that head. I want to quit using. I don't want to quit using. I ain't going to use. I might use tomorrow. It bounces around in that head, but it's never really said verbally to someone who cares. It's never said verbally, and it's never heard so much. They don't hear. They ain't sitting in a group of people saying, yeah, I feel the same way. Sometimes I want to use, but I know I can't. They're not them. He says sometimes them people don't have the opportunity to get honest. They don't have the opportunity for this other voice to flare up. The other voice that says, we know what I want to use. It's the other voice in your head says, you stupid fucker. What the hell are you thinking? And I could kind of relate to that. I remember when he told me several years ago, it's been a long time ago, I told him, I said, I still want to use sometimes. I still think about using them quite a bit. But then this other voice, this other voice in my head goes, well, you dumbass, what the fuck are you thinking? And he told me, he said, Greg, that's a beautiful thing right there. He said, that's a beautiful thing to have the other voice. He said, did you ever have that voice before? I said, no. He said, see? He said, that other voice, he said, it needs to be heard. That other voice needs to be in an atmosphere where he can thrive. That other voice needs to be around people who are talking the same language. That other voice needs to be able to continue to talk. See, I'll jump around a little bit. Just like my buddy in the chair the other day. That voice flared up one time, and the sick mind shut it down. It shut it down almost immediately. And I think that's kind of what happened with me, when I was up here in that back door there standing, because when I did those things, I didn't come outside. That sick mind shut me down. But just having him tell me to do those things, and being around people that I could trust him well enough to try that thing, give that voice, I don't know what to give that voice, give it a chance to be heard. And I thought about that. I don't know how many times over the years, especially after I done it, how many times I thought about the times I stood in that door. I did it several times, and all through the years I've thought about that. I've thought about that conversation, or them conversations I've had with myself, how I had to talk myself into doing something good for me, to talk myself into being healthy, and I hope and pray my buddy, gets a chance, this thing he went through the other day. I hope he hears that voice in his mind again. I hope he gets to keep talking about it. Because them friends of mine that are dead, they don't get that chance. They don't have that voice again. I don't know, man. This thing up here is a fry. I believe everything. No matter what we put in our body, it changes that thing up there. It changes the way it works. From you, I don't give a fuck what you think, man. From weed to speed, it changes the way this thing works. You know, uh, and you do enough of any of it, we get fucking crazy. And maybe you don't even have to do that stuff to get crazy. I don't know, man. I've never been happier today. I've never been healthier. Well, that's a lie. I've been a lot healthier. But since I got clean, my mind is healthier probably today than it's ever been. You know, I've got two voices up there. When I first got clean for the first 4 or 5 years, I had like a dozen. And they was all fucking arguing. None of them wanted to do the same damn thing. None of them really know what the fuck to do. So they just fucking argue and fucking depress the hell out of me and shut me down, and I just sat there. When I got around people in recovery, they started suggesting things, that weren't one of them 12, or one of them 13 or 11 or 10, and these common sense things that they told me, and these uncommon sense things, these crazy things like sitting in a chair things, had I not been around people in recovery, you know, had I not been around in recovery, I would have never had the growth that I've experienced in my life. I'd be using. I talk about it a lot, and I hear people tell me a lot. I talk about this stuff a lot, and I think about dope all the time. From fucking weed to speed to alcohol. Man, how many times a day, I'll be out here doing something, fucking joint pops in my head, fucking joint be all right. Or you get out here and you're working around, and you get kind of tired. Say, man, fucking line, man, do be good, man. Do a line right now. Look at all the shit I can do over yonder, man. Fucking do me a big old line. If I wasn't talking about this, and if I wasn't, in recovery and being around people, that would be the only voice I heard. You know, that would be the only voice I heard. Instead of fucking mowing around out here, I'd be down there behind the pond and digging holes, planting pot plants. Uh, Instead of going and resting when I'm tired and getting back up and doing some fighting through a little depression, I'd be fucking hitting some kind of speed. I would only hear that one voice. That sick motherfucker. One that says, put something in you, Greg. Change the way you feel. Or don't do nothing, Greg, to improve your life. I don't know, man. It was just a fry, the other day, watching that, I'm bringing back all those memories and things. I'm so grateful for the people in my life. I'm grateful for the people in my life, that helped me through this and helped me understand what's going on between my ears, rather. People in recovery. You know, God bless everybody else. But I'm not the type of person that needs somebody that'll say, well, let's drink one. Yeah, let's burn one. Or fuck it, don't worry about it. You know, because I take the easy route, man. I'm grateful to have that. I'm grateful to have them two voices today. And for the most part, the healthy voice is very much the loudest one today. You know, I don't have a whole lot of shitty vices right now, other than being selfish and self-centered. I've got a drug-free body that I'm proud of and thankful for. I've got a program of recovery, man, that keeps me sane, halfway sane. I got men in my life, man, who's been through the shit and are willing to share their experience, strength, and hope with me. Watching that the other day, I just can't I just can't put into words how grateful I was to see that, even though it was painful. But I believe with everything in me, my buddy will grow from that, you know. I don't know. I just want to talk about that a little bit. I'm about talked out. It's a beautiful evening, though. I see deer down the deer feeder. I see fish swimming around, popping their heads up. Pretty cool. Pretty cool to be clean. Pretty cool to not have to fight right now. The urge to put something in me, or fight for an opportunity to quit doing something that I don't need to be doing. I love y'all. I'm just rambling now, man. I'm just rambling. Tim, come and see me sometime. I love you guys. You have a good evening, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Hello, John Eric Turner. I love you, brother. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, man. If you hadn't been in my life, I don't know where in the hell I would be right now. I know I wouldn't be here with this peace in my mind, my heart. I know I wouldn't be free. I know I'm halfway sane. I love you guys. See you later.